Okay, well, let's get started here. All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Anchorage for Switch to Linux, and this is my inaugural video. Doing videos for Switch to Linux, and I'm going to be doing that today, and it's going to be a real good one. And this was inspired by one of our guys out on Odyssey, and who was asking, when are we going to see a video for how to set up Matrix in order to chat with the Switch to Linux group and stuff like that. That's paraphrasing big time, but neither sense. The guy was asking Tom when he was going to do that stuff like that, and I don't think he really saw that comment or whatnot. I hope he did, but you know, in either sense, I saw it because I monitor the chats for on Odyssey, Rumble, and YouTube, and I happened to see this individual's question, and I took it as inspiration to do a video on it myself. So, and it's perfect because I just had the initial video for SWITCHQuest a couple videos ago, and so I'm going to do that with this one. So why don't we get started? Hey guys, welcome on back, and Skál. Just a little bit of water. Keep my throat nice and moisturized, whatever. Anyways, so thank you for coming back, and this is going to be the first video for Switch to Linux that I do. Granted, I had the one previous to this, but it's just the announcement of the videos. So we had an individual out on Odyssey during Weekly News Roundup recently ask, when are we going to get a video for the folks that want to set up Matrix in order to have, access the online chat with the online chat community? And that question was to Tom. However, I'm not so sure if he saw it or not, but in either sense, I saw it as inspiration to do it as my first official video for Switch to Linux on a topic. So I went ahead and I'm getting all set up and everything like that. So I think I've got everything all set up, and I've got my set deck kind of figured out here. I've got this additionally illuminated with a light right over here out in the middle of the floor, just to brighten things up over there a little bit. And my mic here. So, and just a recap on that, this got pushed over here. There's my printer right here. So, either sense, moving on. So for folks that want to join us on Matrix, on our online chat, which is 24/7, accessible any day of the week, anytime, your kind of thing. It's, what is Matrix? Matrix is an online chat that I can't say it's really federated, but it's decentralized. There's no central server of sorts, because everyone can host their own instance to access the Matrix protocol using the Synapse server software, stuff like that. Switch to Linux is currently on the main server for Matrix at matrix.org, and who knows what the future brings. Either sense. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go through a couple of the rough steps to actually go in and get yourself set up with Matrix, and so that you can join us. So let's take a look at that. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to fire up Firefox, which I've done right here. I am logged into my virtual machine for Linux Mint Debian Edition, but in either sense, you need a web browser. So I fired up Firefox here, and what you want to do is go to this link right here, which is https matrix.to/# or hashtag. It's a # /STL-live:/matrix.org. So I've got this address down below. So And the first thing that you run into is, you get this page here, preview this link using the matrix.org home server, use another server, or continue without a preview. Well, I usually come in, I'm on the virtual machine, so I'm not set up on here at all, at least I shouldn't be. So I'm going to click on continue, and here we go. STL live at matrix.org. Choose an app to continue. So what you have to do is you have to choose a chat app in order to do it. And right off the bat, Matrix uses their own, they put it right up on top, preferential treatment, whatever, stuff like that. It's only natural. So you got Element. Another good one is Shieldy Chat, which I actually have on my main machine, but I don't use it. I use Element primarily. There's also WeChat. There's Neko. There's Fractal. There's Quaternion, which is only available on FlatHub. It's Fluffy Chat. Neo Chat. You can use Thunderbird, but why I don't know why, but we have that option. Cine. So we've got a number of different applications here. So fortunately, I don't have to go out and actually get one of these myself because I'm on Linux Mint, and Linux Mint for the past couple version or so releases, they've actually included Element because their own chat is now on the Matrix protocol. It used to be on IRC, but they changed it over and they are now on Element. So I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to click on continue. And then it says allow this site to open the Element link with Element. Choose a different application. Let's see. Actually, with Linux Mint, it's actually native in the releases. So I'm going to click always open and open link. And this is going to open up Element. So here it is. Welcome to Element, decentralized encrypted chat and collaboration powered by Matrix. Sign in, create an account. So we are going to create an account. All right, so it's right off the bat, matrix.org. Now, if you don't necessarily want to be on matrix.org or with another server that you happen to know of, you can edit that here. But we are just going to use matrix.org. We're going to click on continue. And now it shoots us back over into Firefox onto account.matrix.org. And it says to create an account. So choose a username to continue. Well, I am just going to put in that. I'm just going to use Anchorage for STL. That's all I'm going to do. All right, so we are going to continue with email address. You can also continue using GitHub or Google, GitLab, Facebook, with Apple, or if you already have an account, you can click on there. I already do have an account, but I'm not going to be using that one for the sake of the setup. We're going to be doing a fresh one altogether, so I'm going to say continue with email address. So this is where we would want to plug in our email address, our password, and then we have to confirm to the password, and then we'll have to agree to the terms and conditions. And I totally recommend that you go into the terms and conditions and read every word. Granted, nobody is going to do that, but I do recommend that you at least go in there and see it, save a copy to refer to later. And then, of course, you have to say, hey, I'm not a robot. So you'd have to click on that. And it just gives a check mark right away. There's no CAPTCHA or anything like that. And then you click on continue. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill this out, and I'll be back after I click continue. After you've entered that information and you click on continue, you're going to come to it's going to bring you to this page here, and it says verify your email. Enter the 6-digit code sent. So I have to go to there and I have to go get it. So when I get back, I'll put it in and I'll click on continue. All right, now that I've entered that confirmation code, I've clicked on continue, and now we are brought to choose your display name. This is the name other people will see. You can change this at any time. So we're going to say AnKorage for Switch to Linux. Okay, so we're going to, you could also skip it, but you know, we're going to go ahead and just set it up. Click on continue. Allow access to your account. Element at IO Element Desktop Vector Web App wants access to your account. This will allow Element to see your profile and contact details, view your existing messages and data, send new messages on your behalf. Make sure that you trust Element. So review the privacy policy and the terms of service. Do that. So when you're all done, click on continue. Allow the site to open, blah, 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 stuff like that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and click on open link. Boom. And now we're going to come into Element. And here we are. We are in Element, and it says help us improve Element. Share anonymous data to help us identify issues. Nothing personal, no third parties. This is your choice. I'm going to say no. We've refreshed your sounds. Your notification ping and call ringer have been updated. Clearer, quicker, and less disruptive. Okay. Chats has a new look. The chats list has been updated to be more clear and simple to use. Okay. Sort your chats. Change this ordering of your chats from most recent to alphabetical, essentially, A to Z. New quick filters. Filter your chats with a single click. Expand to view for more filters. Okay. And then shoots down here. Some settings have been moved. To show or hide message previews, go to all settings, preferences, room list. Done. Boom. And here we go. All right. Once you've gotten through all of that, you'll be popped back into Element, and this is what you should see, or something close to this. It's right there in the center. It says live chat, active stream, and Premiere can't be previewed. Do you want to join it? Now you may see this. You may actually see something similar to that previous part. Like here, you might see this with the room icon, but you might not. You might just see this. You want to click on join the discussion. So you click on that. And we are now in. So, of course, we can't see any earlier messages because of the encryption key. Because this is encrypted chat, more or less. Basically, you can't see the previous history because you've never been there before. So, if you come in, this is, I've been showing you the steps to get into the live chat, active stream, and Premiere. Now, this one can only be accessed when the room is open to the public. And that is on Thursday nights during the Switch to Linux weekly news roundup, and from 8 to whenever it ends, 9:30, 10 o'clock. It's somewhere in that range. And, the rest of the time, there is the Switch to Linux general chat, and I will actually point you in the direction of that. So basically, you go up into search, what I've got here, and we would do pound. Not a hashtag, because it's a pound sign. Get that straight. And then you type in switched to Linux, all one word, lowercase. And then colon. And then matrix.org. And then you see this join switched to Linux, matrix.org. So you go to that. And this is what you should see. Switch to Linux. Now, this is the central Switch to Linux community area on, through Matrix, essentially. So we got all these rooms, privacy discussions, news, Linux discussions, video ideas and research. Announcements, STL videos and streams, live chat. Oh, there's live chat right there. It's already marked as joined. General discussions. So you can just go to general or whichever ones you want. You can go to join and you'll click on that and it's doing its little thing and there it is. And if we click on it, you're brought into general discussions and we can see that it's spinning, but of course it says you can't see earlier messages. That's because we've never been there before, but we're now in general. And you'll also notice there's an icon up here for Switch to Linux. If you click on that, it'll bring you back to the central area where you can join any of the other rooms. Let's say announcements. We'll join announcements. So announcements is available. It now shows up here. If you click on that, it brings you in. And there we are. We can see, oh, the latest one. Yeah, what do you know? I do the announcements. So I'll announce all the new videos and streams and any other important announcements that are actually appropriate for our community. So I'll do that there and I provide links and there we go. And we've got 3 other previews. Look at that. All of them. Isn't that cool? So there we go. And go back to discussions. I'll come into here and why don't we say hello to everybody? No one's really been talking all that much, so we are going to go ahead and do it now. Hello from me for the video on how to get in here. And there it is. Teh AnKorage for Switch to Linux. So there we go. So if you want to see any information about these people, you could of course click right on their icon and it shows up here on the right hand side. And you know, you get the actual name and everything like that. It's verified. It's because I went ahead and I verified it. And I've also gotten my recovery key and everything. So we did that. And of course I can share the profile if I wish. And there's some other information in here, stuff like that. You know, you can do this on anybody. We can go out of there, and if we go into this, we can see everybody else that's in here. See, like there I am, right there. Boom, boom, boom. I can send a direct message. I can share the profile. I can mention. I can ignore, that kind of thing. And of course, you know, depending on what each user's permissions that are set up for them, they may have more or less as far as the number of options goes and stuff like that. So there we got. If you want to see the picture even bigger, you just click right on the picture and it'll show up. And there it is. Isn't that fantastic? I've got Teh AnKorage for Switch to Linux. Hey, where did we see that before? Where do we see it right now? Down here. And then I've got my photograph of my name tag placard thing that goes on the side of a Viper. Battlestar Galactica. There we go. And that's actually a photo, but in either sense, this is everything here. And if we go back over to live chat, here we are. And during the streams, we can go ahead and we can talk about what's going on. Keep it on topic. I'd much appreciate that. Thank you guys. And, you know, we'd love to have that. So, yeah. So we've got it all going on here. And, of course, I click back on that. It goes back to general discussions of the room info. Make sure that in any room that you go into that you read this section down here. This is the room description. It's brief description of what the room is for, and also it's also not a free-for-all room, and you are requested to keep your topics, comments, and replies civil and appropriate for a public setting. Thank you very much for your consideration of this. So that is essentially your setup. So why don't we get out of here? All right, and there we have it. And there's the basic approach to get in there and get set up so you can join in on Matrix and help us and join us on our chats and stuff like that for Switch to Linux. So over the general discussions and on live chat. So, and we've got a number of different rooms, and you can go ahead and play around in there and check things out. So that's basically it. So we will see you on Thursday night and for weekly news roundup, and we'll see you around on Matrix. So thank you very much for coming along. Skál. And just like Tom says, we hope you enjoy switching to Linux.